My name is Judy Reimer, and I've been going to Real Life since July of last year. I grew up Lutheran, and I was married in a Lutheran church and grew up in a small town. My parents were Lutheran. Just before Ryan was born, I was introduced to the Worldwide Church of God, which I felt they had more truth than anything I had heard. I was learning a lot. I liked the Bible studies, so I attended there. I entertained ministers in my home, elders in my home, deacons in my home, for meals, all of that. I was very involved. I was very committed. But when that gentleman died and had to bring in outside help, that's when the problems began and the infiltration started. And it took several years for that to happen. But by 1992, people were leaving because of it, because the doctrines had changed so bad they didn't recognize the church anymore. I wanted the truth. They stopped preaching the gospel of Christ, and so I stopped going. God, when times were really tough, that was the Father I cried out to. It wasn't my own father, it was God, because I knew that was the only one that could help me. Ryan had told me that they were going to have home churches, the watch parties, in their garage during this COVID spell so that people could get together and Pastor Sean could deliver his sermon over the television. So I said, sounds like a church I want to go to, so I came. And I told Ryan that this was a man of God, that this man was called to do this. While there, I met Pastor Sean as he visited the different watch parties, and his wife, and several other people that came to the watch party. It was just like a social hour. You know, we had coffee and we'd watch the sermon and visit, and I really enjoyed that, and I look forward to that every Sunday. It was kind of sad when they went back to gathering over back at the school. For me it was, because I could have gone to home church, you know, forever. But I still wasn't ready to go back to church because it was a traumatic experience to see that church blow up. Ministers left, went every direction because it was infiltrated at the top. And I decided it was going to be my husband and I and God and no church. Of course, I had my Bible. I had been through a lot of Bible studying, so I could Bible study without the guidance. And the more I studied, the deeper the learning came, and the more convicted I became that unless it was a man of God, I wasn't ever going back to church again. But then my granddaughters invited me to the movies. They wanted me to come to church, and I thought, well, I'll go just to appease them. So I did. And I fell in love with the people at the church. The first time driving in the driveway, and we had the parking attendants waving and directing traffic, and then you'd come up the sidewalk and you had the women greeting at the door, and then you get inside and there were some more people greeting, and then you got to the worship center and there were ushers, and the movie was kind of fun. They were passing out the popcorn and the soda that was kind of pretty special. Then after service, of course, a lot of people would come up and introduce themselves. I had a little bit of an advantage because Ryan was my son and everybody knew who he was. So that was a little bit of an advantage to get a jump start on meeting people. But what I have found now, serving in the hospitality area, everybody makes an effort to greet. Everybody is super friendly. And it's just a joy to watch people come with a big smile on their face. And the children coming and doing their little waves. They come up the sidewalk. And when I walk in on Sunday morning, it doesn't matter what kind of a morning I've had. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a little challenging. I can feel that Holy Spirit working already. I mean, it's just the camaraderie, the joy, it's just all there. I literally can feel it. It's an energy feeling. By the time I leave there, my whole week goes better because I've had that spiritual fulfillment of meeting and greeting others of a like mind. And I think that's where the strength comes for all of us, that unity. Pastor Sean asked me if I would mind telling my story, and I was joking with him about being the real-life church prodigal grandmother, because I now have found a home.